Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are well. Happy Halloween. I hope you're enjoying it, whatever way that is, taking your kids out trick-or-treating, or if you take my approach of just eating sweets. However you enjoy it, I hope you guys have a good day. Today, we are going to try our best at building some cheap teams for the Halloween competition, which starts today. Let's get into it. So we are going to start off with limited. You guys would have seen on Tuesday that I had some pretty insane top-end Halloween edition cards. I had Mbappe, Pedri, who, was absolutely pointless, Huijsen, and a couple of other really, really good cards. I've now completely sold all of them because I could make a profit at the time because the prices just skyrocketed, and you'll see why. And the reason being, the main reason behind it is because there was so many entrants with like 2 or 3 days left to go that for me, it just made limited absolutely pointless. If we look at the leaderboards for limited, 100 spots are paid, $30 is 100th. To build a team that's really going to get 100th without getting super lucky, you need the top end players, you need good XP, and you're competing against 2,805 other teams. And for me, that did not seem worth it at all. Whereas the other side that seemed worth it, if we move over to the mixed one, so rare here, you're going to be able to see my teams. We're going to go more in depth in them in a moment. There's currently 408 entrants. It was a lot lower, which is kind of also a reason why I wanted to move over. But if you look at the rewards, it's down to 100th, and you get $50 for coming 100th. So you've got let's say a 1 in 4 chance. It's not really how it works in Sorare, but you have got a 1 in 4 chance of actually placing on the leaderboard, which is a lot more enticing, especially to me. And I've also really, really wanted to get into rare recently. And we're gonna look more in depth into the teams, and I'm gonna go through why I built them. But we're gonna start off with limited. We do still have 2 limited teams. The reason being, like everyone else, I have loads of market credits, and these were the first players that I decided to pick up, so I used my market credits on them, and thus I can't sell them, so I may as well use them and get maximum utility out of them. So we're going to go in to team number 1. So we have Bernd Leno in goal, a really, really nice fixture against Wolves. Wolves are struggling at the moment. They nearly managed to not struggle against a 10-man Chelsea, but we don't need to talk about that. In defence, we've gone for Reece James, and then he's partnered with the other Chelsea player of João Pedro. I didn't want to use these guys in my main Premier League team. Not the greatest fixture away to Spurs, although Spurs is a bit of a stomping ground for Chelsea. So, these guys may pick up some good points. And then the 2 players that I targeted from Newcastle, Anthony Gordon, away to West Ham, and Tonali. West Ham are struggling quite a lot at the moment. Newcastle are starting to find their form. Gordon's back, or not back, he's been back a couple of game weeks and he's been smashing it. Tonali has been one of the best midfielders so far in the Premier League. And these are 2 cards where, I can move myself slowly back into some more Premier League teams again, now that I've got my Bundesliga and La Liga strategy completely concrete. So that is team number 1. Do I think that's going to finish on the top 100 leaderboard? Not really. I think if I didn't have João Pedro and Reece James in there and had maybe Saka and Gabriel, then I would feel more confident in that team. But when you're up against La Liga and Bundesliga scores, it's not that pretty. Team number 2. So we had picked up Jordan Pickford, Marcos Alonso, Lopez and Llorente. So Pickford is a really nice one. I wanted him for the international break, so that was the main thinking behind him. Not the easiest game. Usually you think Sunderland isn't the hardest game, but they are away. Sunderland are performing well, so I can't really see a clean sheet there. Marcos Alonso, I needed some more La Liga utility. Fermin Lopez, with Pedri out, I wanted 2 Lopez's. He's one of the best midfielders or attacking midfielders for Barcelona, and he's already skyrocketed in price for what I paid for him. And he's my captain for the weekend. We picked up a second Marcos Llorente. He always plays for Atletico Madrid and does a really good job. And then finally, this was a last minute, picked up about an hour ago. We picked up Anthony from Betis because I wanted him. He's one of the only players I don't have that smashes it in La Liga. He doesn't smash it as much as Mbappe or Yamal, so he'll be going in the 4th team, from this after this game week. But he's a pretty nice card to have. And this team I actually favour more than the other one. And this does have a chance of leaderboard, we have a lot of home fixtures here apart from the goalkeeper and Alonso. So fingers crossed this can get me top 100 and give me $30 back, because this team did not cost too much more than that. Now we are going to get into the fun team. So I set myself the challenge, bear with me on this, of building 2 teams, £250 each, because I had quite a decent fair chunk of cash after I sold those limited players. So I set myself the budget of £250 each. You're probably looking at this going, Marcus Rashford in season probably costs about 250 quid. And you're not wrong. You're actually very right. That was because I couldn't find any La Liga forwards that just weren't shocking. You know, any La Liga forward that's good, it's either Antony outside of Barcelona and Real Madrid, and then you've got your Mal, Rashford, Rafinha, who's obviously injured at the moment, Mbappe, Vinicius Jr. All of the options were just very pricey, and he was the cheapest of the best options that's also just in form. So we have picked him up for the La Liga team. I guess we can go back and forwards if I open up another tab and we can look at the prices I paid for each of these cards, just so you guys have a rough idea of what I've paid and what I'm going for. So we're now going to go from the back. We start with Rashford just because I had to give a little disclaimer. Dimitrovic and Riedel. Dimitrovic has been pretty good this season. I'm worried I'm going to delete this squad somehow. I was hoping there was going to be a way I could see his last 5. We're actually going to leave this screen. We're going to go over here and look at the players this way. So Dimitrovic we paid £51.33 for. Those scores for a keeper that is not in a top team are actually pretty insane. You know, he keeps clean sheets. I'm pretty sure it's a last man tackle. And even against the top teams, his scores aren't horrendous. A 36 and a 44 against Betis and Real Madrid, and then a 43 against Atletico Madrid are not horrible. And the main thinking, I don't know if I've covered this already behind the teams, is I wanted to move into Bundesliga and La Liga. I didn't really want to go into Premier League because that's kind of what I do on the Road to Glory. That's a sneak preview to what's happening on the Road to Glory at the moment, which I haven't done a video for 2 weeks, but there will be an update next week after another weekend. But away to Alaves, I fancied Dimitrovic, and for £51 seemed like a bargain. You guys know I like to go with the defensive duo, so the best defender for Espanyol for me was Riedel, who we picked up for £32. Some really, really nice scores here as well. I'm hoping, I don't know why he was out in this period, I'm hoping it was just injury. But outside of that, if we look when Espanyol... when Riedel moved to Espanyol. So from game week 12 onwards, that's probably why he was probably transferring, not match fit. You get the gist of it. His worst score was a 41 last week, but don't worry about that because he's going to put up a better score this week. But he picked up a 58, a 60, a 75 and an 87. If you ask me, for a £32 defender who's 21... that seems like an absolute bargain to me and a really, really nice addition. We then go into the midfielder. So Caicedo, with Pedri out, it's rumoured Pedri could be out for quite a few number of weeks. Caicedo, last season, a similar thing happened when Frankie de Jong was out and Caicedo fitted right in and had some great scores. You know, we scroll all the way back. I remember this period. I mean, this was the period I remember, not the one after. But he was getting some assists against Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. He was really, really performing and hitting some decent scores. And they're the kind of scores you want if you're looking for a budget midfielder. I overpaid for him because I just needed to buy one, although people have actually spent more after I bought this Caicedo. But I paid £34 for him. Gets a little extra XP with Rashford. And I was pretty happy with that purchase. And then the final purchase, this one was... the actual first purchase I made, it was a bit of a whim. Santiago Moreno, he doesn't even play all the games, but when he does play, his scores are pretty consistent. If he can throw a decisive in, then you get the start of the season scores. But he averages a pretty solid, 50 to 60 points. He has the odd rough game, but this is against Real Madrid and City. And when you're building teams that aren't the top of the top, you have to ignore these scores because they're not the game weeks you're going to win stuff. They're the game weeks where you're just definitely not. You want to target the games against Atletico Madrid, Valencia, not Atletico Madrid, again against Athletic Bilbao, Against Atletico Madrid, he actually did pretty well. But if you look at these fixtures, Villarreal have had quite a hard start to the season after the opening 3 games. And the scores are pretty good, so I'm happy with this purchase. Hopefully he starts and doesn't get rotated. But that is the La Liga team, as you can see there. We put them all in together. We get 2% extra bonus. And hopefully we can finish in the top 100, which I think we've got a good chance. We're predicted 250th. But Sorare's formula doesn't have the ball knowledge that I do, so I'm not too worried about that. Team number 2 that's actually predicted top 100, which I would obviously take. This team is in the £250 budget. So we've gone for Baumann in goal, Elvedi, Reitz, Martel and Kramaric. And we're going to do a breakdown as we just did with the previous players before and see how much each of them cost. So this to me made Rare so enticing because for me, these are some great players for a great cost. If you take into account these are special edition cards as well, giving more XP, I just thought they were an absolute bargain. So we spent £62, 26 takes us to 88. That takes us to 96, 136, 156, 164. So we spent £225, give or take, on a starting Bundesliga stack. Which, if you look at the streak rewards that you can get, which I haven't even looked at, but we're gonna do it together. Let's go and have a look at the streaks that you can actually get, because I haven't even took this into account. I just know they're a lot better than the Premier League. So if we go into the streaks, so if we look at Bundesliga Rare, if I was able to hit 440 points, that's $200. That literally pays for the team after hitting these two back instantly, and that is achievable with these players that I've got. It's definitely eye-opening for someone who you guys know. I pretty much just buy all the limited smashers, and that's just how I play Sorare. That's how I enjoy it. I enjoy watching top-end football. I'm not that into the Eredivisie and Belgium League. I don't watch it. It's harder to find. And La Liga, Bundesliga, Premier League is just what I've watched since I was a kid. So if you want to hate me for that, that's me going on a little tangent. But there you are. Anyway, to the side of my tangent. So Baumann, we have gone in goal. £62. Pretty sure I overpaid for him, but to me doesn't really feel like an overpayment. Hoffenheim haven't been that great this season. If you look at these scores, pretty shocking. But they are against Wolfsburg, who have also been pretty shocking. In the last 3 games prior to Heidenheim, he managed to keep 3 clean sheets. 2 of these were on the international break. But this is where the additional, 104... If you look at the price I paid and then the price people paid after, some people are crazy when it comes to instant buy. But if you can take into account that plays in the Bundesliga, he's Germany's starting keeper, which gives me some utility. So maybe not next week, but the week after, I might actually be able to string a team together for the international break. I've got Rashford and Baumann. I can't think of any of the other players off the top of my head who do play for their national team. But, we've got to start somewhere. So Baumann for me, great pickup. I've ranted for ages about Baumann. We then go into our first defender, or only defender, Elvedi. £26. Just consistent scores with some decent peaks. Obviously, once again, international break. And I just answered my previous question. Elvedi plays for Switzerland, and Switzerland have some pretty nice games in the league. So if he can pick up these results, Germany keep a clean sheet, Rashford scores a goal for England, that's 3 players we have so far. And also, this game week against St. Pauli, Borussia Mönchengladbach have been shocking so far this season, but he's still been putting on some decent scores. I'm now looking at this now, and they all look like they were decent scores around the international break. I mean, he got an assist against Bayern Munich. That's got to count for something. An assist, that's a last man tackle. I don't regret this decision. I'm still pretty happy. 26, 27, 28 pound, 26 pound. I'm pretty happy with that. He was one of the players. I wasn't really sure who to get in defence. As I said, I had a £250 budget. I mean, obviously, I broke that with Rashford on the La Liga team. But we're happy with that. Then moving into the midfielder. So this gave us a bit of a collection bonus. So we picked up a Rocco Ritz. In the last couple of games, he hasn't been as good for Borussia Mönchengladbach. But I remember previously, he was absolutely smashing it at the back end of last season. and he does have the ability to hit some high scores. So if Mönchengladbach can start hitting some form, trying to get themselves out of the relegation zone, then he can definitely, has the potential to hit these higher scores. In these international games, I'm trying to think if that was under 23. I imagine it was, because I don't see him getting into the Germany team. I was just looking for the international fixtures. But we picked him up. I'd definitely overpaid on this guy. £48. But for me, Bundesliga midfielders are very, very hard to come by. And he seemed like a standout for me. Then we go into another cheap beast. £28, Eric Martel. 1 of 100, which is really nice for the collection boost. Already had some XP on him. And he manages to get some decent decisives, which are really, really going to be helpful. Playing Hamburg, or Hamburger, I'm pretty sure it's Hamburg, this weekend. So at home, really, really nice fixture. And fingers crossed he can deliver. And then up top, Kramaric. In the last couple of games, he has been absolutely firing. Has really, really good potential to get high scores. If he doesn't score, he does have these low scores. So you're kind of going for a decisive. Not guaranteed to play against Wolfsburg, but if he does, that would be really nice. And then also another player with international break. So right now, I only need a midfielder from all the rare purchases I've made. So I'm pretty happy with that. If I take the filter off, just to look at the players that I've purchased. So they are my rare teams. Not as good quality-wise, player-wise as the limited, but I still feel like there's a little chance there for me to hit the top 100. Let me know, guys, down below what you think of those teams. So, guys, as always, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to Sorare and haven't joined already, but you're interested in fantasy football and you want to get involved, there's a link down below where you can get yourself £150 of free market credits. Any questions, feel free to hit me. I will see you guys next week. We're going to start uploading so much more content now. My exams are nearly over. See you next time.